I got the chilling call from my daughter while I was in the middle of a work meeting. "Mom, there's a man pointing a gun at me." Her voice was eerily calm, like she'd been through worse. "Don't worry, I'll handle it. But you might want to come home now before this guy becomes the evening news." My heart stopped. I bolted from the conference room, ignoring the stunned looks from my colleagues. We'd only moved into this upscale neighborhood 2 weeks ago. How could something like this happen? Little did I know, the Homeowners Association wasn't just nosy. It was a nest of tyrants who'd soon regret targeting us. If you've ever dealt with an HOA nightmare, share your wildest rule enforcement stories in the comments. I never imagined mine would involve guns and FBI takedowns. My name is Sarah Mitchell, a 45-year-old consumer rights attorney in Chicago. After 20 years of marriage ended in an amicable divorce, I craved a fresh start. Oakwood Estates seemed perfect. Colonial-style homes, pristine lawns, and that brochure promise of a peaceful community where neighbors become family. The realtor mentioned an active HOA, but I dealt with them before. Keep your grass cut. No big deal, right? Wrong. This wasn't about tidy yards. It was a power trip masking something far darker. But let's rewind to how the tension started building, one bizarre encounter at a time. On my first day settling in, the doorbell rang. There stood a fidgety woman in her early 50s, clutching a massive binder. "Welcome to Oakwood Estates, Mrs. Mitchell. I'm Karen Wilson, the HOA secretary. Here's your welcome package and rulebook. Review it quickly to avoid any incidents." The way she whispered "incidents" sent a subtle chill, like breaking rules might summon something sinister. She glanced nervously over her shoulder before scurrying away. I brushed it off as awkwardness and dove into unpacking. That night, I skimmed the binder, my lawyer instincts flaring. The rules were outrageous. No street parking from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., even for guests. No gatherings over 8 people without HOA approval. Mandatory quarterly meetings. Fines starting at $50, doubling each time. Worst of all, the board could enter your property with just 24 hours notice for inspections. That screamed illegal. A blatant violation of property rights. I jotted notes to challenge it later, but for now I focused on making the house a home. Unaware these rules were weapons in a bigger game. A week later, my 32-year-old daughter Jessica arrived for a 2-week visit. She's my everything. Brilliant, composed, and a government employee by her modest description. What no one here knew. She's an FBI tactical team commander with a decade in high-stakes ops, stationed in DC. I was overjoyed to have her, missed her fiercely, and wanted her input on security upgrades. But the neighborhood's undercurrents were already stirring. We were sipping coffee on the porch when an elderly neighbor, Linda Thompson, wandered over. "You must be Sarah's daughter. I'm the local gossip, or so says our HOA president." She shook Jessica's hand with a warm chuckle, then leaned in conspiratorially. "Welcome to our little kingdom. Mind the royal decrees. Or you'll meet Doug, our self-appointed sheriff, with his online bot badge." Her eyes twinkled with warning. "Watch for Richard Connors, the president, a retired cop with a shady past. Runs this place like his fiefdom, with Doug as his muscle." Linda's words planted the first seed of unease, but we laughed it off as quirky neighbor chat. That afternoon, as Jessica helped unpack, I vented about the absurd rules. "Sounds like control freaks," she said. "Organizing books with precision. Harmless annoyances usually." Oh, how wrong we'd be. The suspense kicked in that evening when I parked my car, apparently 2 inches over a faded line. Morning brought an orange violation notice slapped on my windshield. "Improper parking, $50 fine." Signed by D. Peterson, Security Enforcement. Jessica spotted the oddity. This isn't even official HOA, it's some made-up role. Fuming, I fired off an email, citing state laws on fair enforcement. Principles I live by as an attorney. Small power grabs unchecked. They always snowball. 30 minutes later, my phone rang. An unknown local number. Mrs. Mitchell, Richard Connors, HOA president. His voice dripped fake courtesy over irritation. I got your email. As a newcomer, you might not get how we keep property values high. Strict rules, no exceptions. Pay the fine and adjust your attitude. Before I could cite precedents, he hardened. Oakwood might not suit troublemakers. Things get uncomfortable for them. The veiled threat lingered. As he mentioned the mandatory meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. sharp, then hung up, my pulse quickened. What did uncomfortable mean here? That night, an odd noise from the yard pulled us to the window. A burly man in a pseudo-security uniform was spray painting a giant red X on our lawn. What the hell? I yelled, storming out. He finished deliberately before turning. Official HOA warning. Multiple compliance notices. Multiple. We'd had one. He tapped his holster pointedly and sauntered off. Jessica snapped photos, her calm masking intrigue. Did he just threaten us over parking? She murmured. This just got interesting. I'm extending my stay. Her tone held a puzzle solver's edge, hinting at the skills she'd soon unleash. That red X. It marked us as targets, but it also ignited our resolve. The HOA meeting amplified the dread. 40 residents sat in tense silence as Richard, tall and authoritative, presided with Doug looming nearby. Karen avoided my gaze. Richard spotlighted me mockingly. Welcome Sarah Mitchell, already sharing her special views on our standards. Snickers faded into unease as they steamrolled concerns. Hiking costs dismissed. Questions on tripled security budgets shut down. When I finally spoke, citing illegal inspections and excessive fines under State Code 2745.3, silence gripped the room. Richard's knuckles whitened. Our covenants are ironclad. Maybe research better next time. Or find another home. His dismissal stung, but I held firm. As we left, Karen slipped me a note. Careful. Cameras and mics in common areas. They're watching. Then Doug accidentally bumped me, muttering, We handle people like you. Ask the Johnsons why they sold fast last year. Back home, Jessica chatted animatedly with Linda and a man named Michael Garcia, the one silenced at the meeting. Mom, we've got allies, she said. Michael showed footage. Richard taking contractor cash, selective violations, and them eyeing houses like mine on a list. Linda added, 26 families forced out, homes snapped up by Richard's kin's firms. It's a real estate play, waiting for rezoning profits. The puzzle darkened. Not just tyranny, but fraud. Jessica analyzed. They escalate, fines, absurd rules, discomfort, intimidation. My house was on their blacklist for prime location. Suspense mounted as I filed a city complaint. Hours later, our water cut off for maintenance. Doug smirked. Keep water bottles handy next time you complain. Jessica installed hidden cams that night, spotting Doug's car, staking us out with flashlight sweeps. Intimidation 101, she said, unfazed. Texting Karen for a meetup. Sleep evaded me. The red X glowing under streetlights, symbolizing our growing defiance amid rising threats. Karen's coffee shop rendezvous cranked the tension. Trembling, she handed a USB, $500,000 missing from reserves, funneled to Richard's shells. He harassed my mom out. Now I'm gathering proof. Maps showed 30% of homes owned by linked LLCs. Ours and Michael's were last holdouts for a lucrative block. Jessica dug deeper, requesting FBI checks on Richard, forced retirement for brutality, dropped charges suspiciously, and dug, revoked permit, no creds. An ongoing probe linked their HOA to countywide fraud, but retaliation hit. My car vandalized with comply or leave. Then Michael's text, Doug at door with gun. Jessica raced over. I called police, heart racing at the 15-minute delay. Approaching, I saw Doug on Michael's porch, hand on holster, demanding camera removal. Jessica interposed calmly. No such rule exists. Doug waved his gun, firing a warning shot skyward. In a blur, Jessica disarmed and pinned him, pro moves leaving him stunned. Police arrived, Jessica flashing creds. Richard showed, raging. But Doug was hauled off. Victory? Not yet. Morning brought 17 violation notices. Garden trashed by masked teens. The FBI accelerated, but Richard wasn't done. We rallied 23 residents off-site, forming an alliance against harassment tales. Karen warned Richard fumed, plotting membership termination. The emergency meeting exploded. Richard threatened expulsions. I countered with evidence. Karen defected. It's all true. Docs prove it. Chaos ensued. Richard stormed out as we voted no confidence. Dissolving the board. Cautious triumph faded arriving home. Door jimmied. Richard inside with gun. Sign retraction and sell. Or accidents happen. Unarmed, Jessica stoled masterfully, drawing confessions on live feed to FBI. 34 properties flipped for 7 mailers profit. Kickbacks, dirt on cops. Boastful, he admitted targeting us. Sign now. He aimed at me. Jessica revealed the gun's stolen status and backup outside, then disarmed him in seconds. FBI stormed in. Richard arrested mid-rant. A week later, barbecue celebrated. Jessica transferred to Chicago, aiding the expanding probe. Media buzzed on HOA abuses. I consulted on reforms. Months on, sentencing. Richard got 15 years for fraud, extortion, invasion. Doug 8. Judge blasted their betrayal. Outside, I reflected. Small injustices matter. Fighting takes community. Jessica quipped. And knowing when you're pointing a gun at the wrong mom. Our lawn sign joked. FBI protected, but the lesson stuck. Bullies crumble when the wrong targets fight back with skill, allies, and unyielding resolve.
Like, share, comment your thoughts below. Subscribe. Karen for
Karma.
daily dose of Karen's drama. Take care of yourself and your families. See you in the next video.